Hello, Revit users. My name is Alfredo Medina. I work at HHCP Architects, an Orcat Winslow company in Orlando, Florida. I am a member of the Autodesk Expert Elite group. In this video, I want to explain how to create a graphic scale symbol family like this one in Imperial units. I'll be using Revit 2023. To begin, we do Families, New, English Imperial, then Annotations folder, then Generic Annotation template. Then we delete this node, and the first thing we do is a frame of reference lines like this. Create reference line, pick lines, and we make an offset of 2 inches from this reference plane. 2 inches is a good size for the graphic scale symbol. It shouldn't be too big. If you need it smaller than that, you can handle or you can hide parts of the graphic scale symbol with visibility parameters. But in general, 2 inches is just fine. Now, because this is an imperial graphic scale symbol, I want to divide this in 4 parts. For the metric version, I will divide it in 5 parts. So, to divide this in 4 parts, I continue with pick lines, and then I need half of the 2 inches to the left. So I need that line, and then I need half of 1 inch, which is half an inch in this direction, and now I need the horizontal lines. For the horizontals, 1/8 of an inch is just fine for the height of the bar. So I do 1/8 of an inch, another 1/8 of an inch, and then for the little lines above the bars, I use 1/16 of an inch, like this, and I need another 1/16 for centering the values. Okay. So this is my skeleton for the graphic scale symbol. Just for clarity of this tutorial, not because it's necessary for the family, I'm going to draw some dimensions. Before doing that, let me go to Manage Project Units, Length, and I want to remove this. I want to suppress 0 feet from the units. Let's click OK and click OK. And then let's draw some dimensions. Create aligned. From here to here is half an inch. From here to here is 1 inch. And from here to here is 2 inches. Then we proceed to draw filled regions with black color, like this. Create filled region, solid black, rectangle. I begin here, here, and finish. Then I type enter to repeat and do another filled region like this, from here to here. Finish, then enter. Then I do another filled region here, and enter. And then I need some lines here, right? So let's do create line. I need one vertical line from here to here, and then I can copy that line multiple times from here to here, here, and here. Click on modify to finish, and then I need to close these white rectangles. So I do create line, and I draw a line from here to here, another one from here to here, and another one from here to here. Click on modify, and then just for clarity, again, I'm going to hide the reference lines and the dimensions. So I type VG for visibility graphics. I go to annotations and I turn off dimensions and reference lines. And this is all the graphics that I need for the symbol. Now I need the values, right? The value needs to be a nested annotation family. So let's do that. Let's do File, New, Family, English Imperial, Annotations, Generic Annotation. Delete the red node and create one label like this. Create label. Put the label there, and then I create one value, one parameter. Click on add parameter, and the name of the parameter is value. It needs to be an instance, and it's a length parameter. Let's click OK. Pass this to the right. This is the sample value. Let's click OK. And this is my value. Let's reduce the width of the field, something like this. And then let's check the units of this family. Let's go to Manage Project Units. And here I recommend to do this for length. Let's click on this button and suppress 0 feet. Let's click OK, click OK. And then let's load into project and close this family to load it into the graphic scale symbol family. Do you want to save changes? Yes. And here I have a previous version. So this is going to be value for graphic scale symbol, Imperial. That's a good name for this. Let's click on save. Overwrite, yes. And then this needs to be here, here, and here, right? I could place another instance here, but I don't like to do that because sometimes these other values are going to be displaying the units as feet. And I don't want this to read 0 inches. And sometimes this is inches. I want this just to be 0. So let's place the other values. How do we place them? Well, let's put this somewhere here. And then let's turn on, using VG, let's turn on again the reference lines. Okay, so now this family or this value needs to be aligned with this reference line in this direction and this reference line in the other direction, right? Now we can simply copy this value from this reference line to the other reference line and to the other reference line, and I'm not going to copy it to the first line. I am just going to finish and then type a text like this. Create text. I place my text there and I type 0. I don't want units for the first value. Okay, so I'm going to place it like this. This is okay for now. The next step is to create parameters. So I'm going to place the graphics on the left to make room for the parameters on the right. Let's turn off the reference lines again. So I type VG, annotation categories, turn off reference lines. Okay, and let's open family types. Okay, for clarity of this tutorial, I'm going to turn on those reference lines again and the dimensions so that you understand better what I'm doing. So let's go back to family types and let's create parameters. New parameter. As I said before, I don't need a parameter for the first value. That will be 0 all the time. So I do need a parameter for this, and that will be my second value, right? That needs to be an instance because you want to apply this graphic symbol on multiple viewports on your sheets, and sometimes with different scales on the same sheet, of course. And because the idea of this graphic scale symbol family is that it doesn't use types. I have seen other graphic symbol families that have multiple types, but sometimes you don't have the type that you need. So I don't like that. So let's do this. Second value instance, click OK. I'm going to copy this text with Ctrl C. This is my parameter. Let's create a new parameter for this value. So that will be third value. So I'm going to paste the text and just change this portion, and I have third value, instance, and length, and click OK. And then I need another parameter for this value. So I do new parameter, Control V, and I change this to be fourth value, instance, length, OK. Those are the only 3 length parameters that I need. Now I need something that controls those values. So I do new parameter. This time I need a number. And that number is the scale factor, right? Scale factor, instance, click OK. And now I do the simple math. If the total distance is 2 inches, then I have 1 inch here, and this is my third value, right? So I base the math on this value, the third value, like this. Third value is equal to 1 inch, which is the minimum unit, times scale factor. So when the scale factor is 1, third value is 1. So the other two are very simple. The fourth value, which is this, is simply 2 times the value of third value. So fourth value is equal to third value times 2, right? I'm going to Control C this, copy this, and do the other. The other one, the second value, this one, is simply third value divided by 2. So I paste the formula and I change the symbol. Third value divided by 2. I click anywhere else and then I should have the results. This is the base for what we need to do later. So let's click OK to this. The values don't change yet, of course, because they're not associated yet. So to create that association, I do this. I click on the second value, and then I go here, value. I click on this button and click on the corresponding parameter, second value. Then I go to this one, value, click on this button and click on third value, and this one is associated to fourth value. Then I go to family types again, and just to prove that everything is working, let's suppose that the scale of the view is 1/8 of an inch. So 1/8 of an inch equals 1 foot is a scale factor of 96. So when the scale factor is 96, let's click apply. This value is 16 feet, this is 8 feet, and this is 4 feet. I notice that I need to increase the width of the value family to avoid having this text in 2 lines. So let's do that right away. Let's click OK. Let's go to this family, edit family, and simply make this wider like this, and load into project and close. Yes, overwrite, and that looks good. And then I go to VG and do annotation categories, turn off dimensions, turn off reference lines, and click OK. Now I could fine-tune the appearance of the values like this. Let's go to this family again, edit family. I want to reduce the width factor of the text. So I select the label, I go to edit type, and instead of 1, I'd like to use 0.8 to make it like this. Edit label, click on value, click on this little symbol, use project settings, no, suppress 0 feet, suppress spaces, okay, and edit type 0.80, and let's click on load into project, overwrite, and now I got rid of that space. Okay, this is all we need. We are done with this family. So now we can load this into a project, but first I need to open a project. So let's do this. File, open. Let's go to sample files. And let's go to this project. architectural link model. Let's click on open. And for example, this floor plan is at 1/8 equals 1 foot. Maybe there is some kind of detail in this project. There is sections. Oh, okay, perfect. This section is at 1/8, but here we have a detail at 3 inches equals 1 foot. So this is perfect for testing our graphic scale symbol. So let's go back to the family and let's do load into project and close. Do you want to save changes? Yes. And this can be called graphic scale symbol Imperial in the same annotations folder. And let's place it on this sheet. This view is 1/8 equals 1 foot, so we can place the graphic scale symbol here like this, and then we click on the family and do this. The scale factor of the family is 96. In this case, the viewport is at 96. How do we know that the viewport is using 96? Simply we click on the viewport and the scale factor of the view is here, 96. So you just have to make sure that the graphic scale factor of the family matches the graphic scale factor of the view. In this case, we don't have to change it. Let's go to the other view. And let's place the symbol. Since the family is loaded already, I can do this. Annotate, click on symbol, and this is my graphic scale symbol already. I'm going to place one here and another one here. The idea is to place one on each view. There are other ways to expedite this that I'm not going to explain in this video yet, because that will be the subject of another video. But I'm going to place these things manually this time. Okay, now let's see. This viewport is 1/2 inch equals 1 foot. So I click on the view and I see here that the scale factor is 24. So I simply click on the graphic scale symbol and change this value to 24 and move the mouse to the view, and now this is correct. This one is using 12 for scale factor, so I click on my graphic scale symbol and change this to 12. This one is 12, so I go to my scale factor and change that to 12. And this one is using 4, so I click on scale factor and change that to 4. And this one finally is 1/8, so the scale factor should be here 96. That's how you can have a graphic scale symbol for any scale. It doesn't matter what scale of the view you have, you can always enter that scale factor in the family, and the family does not have types. Also, it does not need text because the text is already here, right? 1 inch equals 1 foot. This is just graphics. Okay, so I hope that this has been useful. Thank you for watching this video.